like film, and I doing some of like film editing work for a while, but I really like photography as a hobby at first. But then I was like, film edit, you need to be like in the room for probably 24 hours. Like you don't really even see sunrise or sunset. So so I really like photography and I really want to get out and shoot. So I was like, maybe I want to be more serious about that. Oh, and I started shooting street photography by that time. So it was just like, yeah, I really like this. I want to pursue this. I'm not so sure where will I be in this thing, but I just want to do it. So I asked my family that can I go to New York City to study for like a year at ICP, the International Center of Photography. And gladly they said yes. So I went to New York City and studied for a year, and then that's pretty much it for my family. Like, okay, we're going to stop sending you money, and so you need to be on your own after this. So it's like, okay, then there's a year later at ICP that I need to like trying to get jobs or internship and everything. So I apply for so many different places, and I'm really grateful that I got accepted as an intern at Magnum Photos, like at archive department. I think that's the only department that they accept interns by that time. And so yes, I was an intern at Magnum for 3 months. And then that's pretty much it. I went back to Thailand. I tried to apply for my artist visa, and so I have to go back to Thailand waiting for my working visa. And after I got my visa, which is probably like few months later, but that's hard. Like I have to decide whether I should be living with my family in Thailand or should I like pursue my photography dream and career in New York City. That's a tough choice for me. But finally, after I got my working visa in the US, I was like, I still want to pursue my photography thing. So I decided to came back to New York City in October 2019. So I was like, okay, now this is going to be my career path. I'm going to do this. And then bang, COVID. Yeah. COVID hits like in March. So I haven't really started my career in New York City. Like it's really hard to like compete with or making a living with photography when you don't really know anybody by that time in New York City. So it's pretty tough. And then COVID hits, and then I become a master chef, like a chef, just cooking in my apartment with my roommates. That's pretty much it that I do for like 3 to 4 months during COVID. Then, but after that, there's like Black Lives Matters event going on, and what else? That COVID thing, Black Lives Matter. So I just go out and start shooting more and more, and I start pitching to publication. Got my like first assignment, then it kept going, and probably that's the probably pretty much it to summarize my life with photography.
Great.
Yeah, and I can share screen. My screen.
Yeah, that'd
of
be amazing. Would
my
love to
work.
see some of your work.
Mhm. And okay, so as you know, that's the summary of my photography life. So now you're going to see it in detail.
Cool.
Hold on. Yes, so like this is the beginning. Yeah, I think I started shooting in 2015 in Bangkok. Like this is a mix of my street photography in New York City and also like my very beginning early year of photography. Yes, it's in like a mix in New York and Bangkok. This is in Bangkok. So
What is that place?
I really like shooting live people, but I kind of not that direct. Like sometimes I create my own stories or something. I have like some sort of a story in my head and I just put it in the photos like this, like, hey, what's it's in the bag behind? Why is
Oh
he
gosh.
into this? Like, yeah. So I think I consider myself as a photojournalist, but sometimes it's like I feel like I'm not a very traditional photojournalist. I'm not so sure if that's the right word, but like, yeah.
What was the context of that photo before with that
Here,
chap
this one.
in the silver? Yeah.
I think he's just resting.
As
Yeah,
you do.
it's an event. There's an event, and this is kind of like the backstage, and he's just like resting.
Cool.
Yeah, all these are on stage because I'm not really good at directing people, and I really like shooting the moment.
Oh no. That's so clever.
Thank you.
How did you do that one?
This one is a
Yes.
reflection. Okay, so it's like the Dali is like a shirt, t-shirt, and that's the reflection. There's like a giraffe decoration in front of the store. So I think at first I trying to shoot the shirt, the t-shirt, Dali t-shirt, and then after that I figure out that, oh, that's the angle. I can mix this together. So it's kind of like trial and error to trying to find that composition.
Nice one.
Thank you. And yeah, so then this series, I call it An Organ, is a photo series that I developed when I was study at ICP, the International Center of Photography. So I think as you can see, my previous images kind of like it tells the stories in itself, each one. Like I don't really have the whole concept, but when I learn more about photography, I look at work more. Then I start like know myself that I like very small things in details. So this series kind of developed from my previous work. It's still street photography, but more, not just only tells a story by itself, but when it combines together as a photo series, it's become larger context.
How do you approach the more kind of in detail street photographs? Do you try and kind of remain incognito, or do you kind of do it from afar, or you zoom in, or would you
Like
usually
this
ask
one?
someone first to keep it kind of candid? Yeah, or even the one of the back of the person's head.
Oh, I never asked.
Yeah, that ruin the moment.
Yeah, that's like, I just saw his back and then I sneezed in and I
So
just
there's an element of like ninja photography in there.
ninja concept.
Okay.
I was gonna say, where are all these streets? Because if this is all street photography, there's such cool things happening to you. There's never so many fun stuff happening to me when I'm walking around.
Well, there might be, but probably you need to like focus and seize it.
Yeah.
Right.
No way.
Yeah, most of it just happened like maybe just 20 seconds. Street photography, you need to be really fast though, I think.
You have to be so observant. Yeah, you can't just be like lost in your phone.
Do you go out every day, every week? Like, what's your schedule
I
of like?
usually went out like 4 days a week. Yeah, I usually do that, but not as many right now. But yeah, honestly, I feel like it becomes more difficult for me personally, to be honest, like shooting street photography right now, because whenever you like put your camera out, it's sort of, yeah, people would just like be aware of it more. So it is more difficult to be sneaky, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I I try to be I know like street photography, sometimes people think it's like invade people's privacy. Most of the time, I think like there's always a issue about that, like privacy in public with street photography. But I'm trying to be really respectful for the people I shoot. Like if they told me to delete, I'll delete it, or I try not to like capture people's face that much, or I'll probably keep them anonymous. That's what I'm trying to, but sometimes it's really hard to make the photos interesting without seeing faces expression. So still learning and need to balance that. Okay, so and this series, when I came back to Bangkok for a year, and it's kind of like, is the work you will see is really different from my street photography work, because I think that's the time in my life that I'm not so sure whether should I be, it's like where I belong. So it's pretty much of like a landscape thing
That's so cool.
that the series called Overlooks because I never think Bangkok is a really pretty place to shoot. Like, I'm Thai, and I think most of Thai people, or at least the quotes that I've been heard for the whole life, is that Bangkok is not a good place for photography. You need to go out, you need to go abroad, like London. Better architecture, better style, or New York City, or anywhere else, but not in Bangkok. But when I came back to Bangkok in 2018, I start seeing the beauty of the city I've been living for 23 years.
When you did this series, did you when you make this series, did you kind of started to question if you wanted to stay because you started to have another point of view of the city, and so opportunity to make like amazing and quite interesting street photography? When you got your visa, did you were like, oh, maybe I should stay because I have more to tell about Bangkok?
I think Bangkok and Thailand has so many great story to tell, the content. But this is different. This is not photography related, but like working system. And also, I really need to say, like, the minimum wage in my country, or the politics situation. All of those things makes me doesn't really want to stay in my country. Yeah, so it's not really photography related, but it's like the whole country system. So I wish that I can go back and forth working in the US, and also like go back go back to Thailand to shoot. So that's my probably ultimate dream, like back and forth. Because I'm not sure in England or in London, but like in Thailand, I work for as a unit photographer in film set, and the minimum hours is 16 hours per day.
Wow.
And there's so many days that I work 24 hours. And I
When
got
do you
paid,
sleep?
and I got paid $100 US. I'm not sure in euros, but yeah. And maybe by that time, I think it's not a healthy working environment for me, and I have no idea how the system in my country is going to improve. It's not about me, it's the whole thing. So I was like, I don't think I can do this. I really like the job, but I don't think I can be in that system.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I came to America.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like super different. I feel like, cause I really enjoy my life in New York City. I think my photo shows that I really like it here. And yeah, it's I made this photo series when this is during COVID. So when things start getting a little bit better, like Black Lives Matter, people went out to protest, and there's so many things happening by that time. I think it's like very interesting moment, historical moment that I've never seen it before. People should be 6 feet distant from each other, but how can you do that in the protest? It's hard, and I think it's really interesting time. So I went out and document. Yeah, New York COVID situation. And I pitched my photo series to the Times.
Oh.
Some of them, this photo is like before COVID, but yeah, I put it here. Dog show.
Oh my gosh. There's some wacky people out there. Yeah. Oh my god. What's going on there? Pie face.
The pie face is an event. Yeah, like picnic
Oh.
event. People just like came to the park and having fun.
As you do. Merry Christmas. How do you achieve the kind of flash effect? That's probably not the right terminology to use, but do you have, is that in your camera, or do you have a special flash attachment to your camera?
I have my flash on my hand, so it's just like my camera here, and I shoot with one flash. That's pretty much it
Cool.
for most of everything. I try to keep them anonymous.
Yeah. You're doing a good job with that.
Oh my god.
The naked cowboy.
Like the naked cowboy is when I think that day was a snowstorm day, the big snowstorm day in New York City, and so I just went out because I think there might be something interesting.
And there
And I
was.
found naked cowboy, and he was like, "Okay, you're naked when there's a big snowstorm, so that's interesting." And like you're still doing your job. Yeah, you never really stop.
Yeah.
And also on the left is Valentine's Day, and I think, well, I guess there might be something interesting for sure on Valentine's Day. So I just went out and I found this guy. He was doing a TikTok video like, okay, I'm going to have my fake girlfriend in New York City. Like today I have my fake girlfriend. So that's how I found him, and I asked him, oh, he's doing his thing. He's recording his video, his TikTok video. And I was like, can I follow you for 15 minutes? Because I think you were great. And he allowed me that. So I was like, okay. Then I just document what he's been doing, and think he's getting back home by the end. So he's like, I'm done with my video, but I need to carry her back. So I was like, oh, okay, can I follow you? And I got the photos that he trying to carry her on subways, and that's like, bang, I got the photos. I love this.
Did you ever see the final TikTok?
No, I
product?
haven't. That's interesting.
Oh, shame.
Sure.
Nice. It's interesting, the guy putting his shoes on, because is he? I don't understand.
You were wondering what
Are the
happened,
trousers
right?
on first, or yeah.
So it's the event called No Pants something. No pants on subway, I think. Yeah. So people just go ride the subway station, and they took off their pants. That's the event. And
Yeah.
so he joined that event, and finally in the end the event, they gather everybody in the park. Like they all went to subway, took their pants off together, everybody. I shot that, and when they got out from subway and they gather everybody in the park, and that's when he like done. So he put on his pant back and his shoe. Is the same event on the right here.
Yay.
So whenever I go to an event, there's also like the way that I try not to photograph that event too direct. Like I try to, I don't know if you know, but these photos, wait. This was in Halloween. So, but I try not to make that too obvious that it is an event. Yeah, so I pitched some of my photos to publication. So this is like a showcase that, oh, I blend my aesthetic, my style, my visual, and I pitched to publication. like, yeah, I shoot for, I think New York Mac is the first publication that gives me an assignment. And then the Times. I'm so grateful that many assignments, they just still want me to do my thing. This
That's
is,
great.
yeah, I think this is the series about like how do we move during COVID? How are we? Yeah. So that's the concept of the shoot, of the assignment. It's about like movement. Or they give an, so before this I only shoot for myself, right? But when I got assignment, it's kind of challenging for me, but also fun. I really like it to balance between my own personal street photography work and sometimes the concept for editorial assignment, and also like keep my aesthetic. So this is the the Times just sent an assignment to 28 Asian and Asian American photographers to represent your thing during the anti-Asian hate. So I really like detailed stuff. I choose to take photos of an objects that my friends and also myself brought from our country. And yeah, assignment, I trying to balance between my aesthetic. Oh, this is the fun one. Like I never really thought that I need to go to the park and shoot rats. So I was waiting for rats. That's the most like fun and weird assignment that I got from the Times. Yeah, I never really thought that in my life I have to wait and shoot for rats for like 2 hours. People
Yeah,
trying to
how long before, sorry, go on.
no worries. What are you going to say?
Just how long did you have to wait until you saw a rat?
Well, actually that park has known for rats like at night.
Oh gosh.
So so I went there and I found like 10 rats in 15 minutes. The thing is that I need to catch them because they were very fast. They were really fast. So I need to run after rats and shoot. And I think that's one of the most like weirdest thing people can do. And yeah. But I really enjoy my life. Sometimes there's a mix between like, oh, I went to a very luxury party to shoot, and or I went to like last week I went to kind of like celebrity event to shoot a party. And I think that okay, so that day is the most interesting one. Before I went to the park and shoot rats, before that in the evening I shot for the wash brand. I'm not sure if you know Hodinki. So I went to Philip Auction House with it, which is really luxury. And I shoot there with really nice people and very nice like outfits and dresses. Great. I love that job. And when I when I finish that event, I need to go to the park and shoot rats. And I was like, yeah, my life is fun.
Nice contrast.
Right. And and I shot this one I'm really proud of. So like
Ooh.
this is a cover for New York Mag. So they're doing an issue about reopening, New York reopening, and then they reached out to me. By that time, I didn't really know that the end result, they're going to put my photos as a cover. I just shoot the reopening scene in New York City. And finally, and I sent them like bunch of photos and they picked this one to be the cover. Yeah, New York City reopening stuff. Yeah, and I shot for New York Mag for their story. For the New Yorker.
Do you still pitch a lot to magazines, or are they coming to you and give you an assignment?
I pitched in the very beginning, but right now, most of the time they reach out to me.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, for New York City company. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my slide.
Great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
I was
you so
giggling.
much.
As you said as well, it's like such a competitive environment, and you managed to like be published so many times. Like, just be so proud of yourself. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Do you find inspiration from I don't know, previous photographer or like a contemporary photographer? I feel like with your style, made me think of Martin Parr as well.
Yes, you are absolutely
exactly.
right. Have you ever met him? He's like my.
I met him. Yeah. I went to one of his talk and met him, and he signed a book for my mom as well. My mom really likes to work.
He came to ICP. I think when I was in school, or after I graduated for a while, then I have him sign my book as well. Yay! He's like my biggest inspiration.
Amazing.
So good.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
When you go on assignments, obviously you're going with a clear goal in mind. But how often does it happen that you manage to catch stuff that were not meant for the assignment? Is that something that happens to you, or like when you're in your job, you just heads down in your job, and you're not thinking of the other stuff that's happening in your surroundings?
Well, actually, what I really like about shooting street photography or photojournalism, because you cannot really plan that 100%. It's like 50% you can just assume that, okay, this might be happen, but the other half is pretty much more of like improvising, and I really enjoy that part. I think some people, some photographer that I've talked to, like someone doesn't really like to be improvising, but I really enjoy that part. So yeah, like if I was sent out to shoot rats, for example, okay, I know this part is going to have rats, and I'm trying to be the best to shoot rats by that time. Like I trying to make that composition interesting or whatever.
Cool. Thank
Great
you.
question.
Yeah.
I was wondering because I find it really interesting when you did the assignment with other Asian American photographer. Do you think it's something you will want to bring more in your work, to like your background from Thailand, and incorporate that in like new series?
Yeah. I think that's gonna. Yeah. Well, actually, I have like a small photo series about that I didn't really have time to continue, but yeah, I shoot in my neighborhood. So I live in Sunnyside in Queens, and also like in Jackson Heights area, which is probably like 4 stops from my place. There's like Thai town, and
Okay.
I think it's really interesting to see sometimes like people have their stuff, like Thai people really believes in religion, and many of us like bring like Thai Buddha, so we can see Thai Buddha everywhere, but sometimes there's like Thai Buddha and also American flag with it, and then that's like interesting to me to see the mix of culture. Yeah, so I started shooting that for a couple photos, and I think that's gonna be really interesting, but I really don't really have time to pursue that. I should go back and do that more.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me check. I can.
Next time we'll follow
Okay.
you, and no pressure. But
We'll be waiting.
we'll be waiting for this series.
Thank you. Now you make me think that okay, I really need to do, because sometimes
Yeah.
like with personal work, it's hard to keep like track going, because sometimes I think I'm very in the early stage, like I'm very in the beginning of my career. I think it's only a year since I pitched to publication, so I'm just starting building up my career, like getting paid. Okay, just so sometimes I need to find the time to make personal work. Yeah, balancing.
Well, you've got an amazing portfolio,
Oh,
given
thank
it's only
you.
been a year. Cool. I think unless we have any other questions, it's probably ridiculously late for you now.
Okay.
The middle
That's
of
a
the
good point.
night. Yeah, so I don't want to keep you any longer, but thank you so much for
Sure. Thank
giving
you
up your
for having
time
me.
and speaking to us. I think it's always really interesting to hear from other creatives. You learn something new every day, and yeah, it was a really cool and interesting talk. So thank you.
Oh, thank you to all of you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.